So in my opinion, no shelter program can be a one-size-fits-all due to our varying resources. So that's why we should be working really well together. For us, and we can all talk about this privately or everybody can come hit me later, we have a full toolbox in our program, our behavior program, because we believe if the only tool you have is a hammer, you guys know it, then everything else becomes a nail. So we kind of go all across the board with everything that we use. And again, if anybody wants to discuss that with me, I'm happy to do that. But our number one behavior modification tool by far, anybody have any idea? Play groups for us. That's our. Okay, so the benefits of play groups. Determining sociability. Dog parks, etc., are a way of life for many adopters. How many of you like dog parks? How many of you don't like dog parks? All right, more like a couple of neutral people. The truth of the matter is, though, we're not taking these animals home. We're sending them out with adopters, and a lot of our adopters like dog parks. Even when we try to advise them about it, it is part of life right now. So it's important for us when we place animals and we do these adoption matches that maybe we can say, well, do you plan on going to the dog park? All right, well, we now know that this dog has experienced a version of that almost every day, so we can help you make a better match, for example. So we really can determine from the play groups what experience that person might be having if that's going to be part of their lifestyle. When you're actually doing play groups, some of your handling techniques, now that we're kind of in the handling and training portion of things, your tone of voice. You've already heard me kind of chastising people about jabbering a lot. You definitely, less is more, and you want to use it when necessary, no jabbering. I'm being redundant now. Okay, low, not loud. You'll have examples of tone of voice through a lot of the playgroup stuff. Use tones that exude confidence and control rather than reactivity. Does that make sense? It's easier, you might think, yeah, and then when you're in there doing it, oh my God! You know, it's not necessarily, it's a skill, you have to practice for it. Really good way to be conscientious about your tone of voice if it's not your natural skill is to have yourself videotaped and listen to yourself. How many of you hate the sound of your voice when you hear it on the message? Believe me, when you hear yourself jabbering at dogs all the time, it'll make you stop. Okay? Social status table. So you remember we just talked about unsocialized, fearful, prey-like, defensive, offensive dogs? I got the playful one. You know, the easy ones are not on this list. So what would you normally say? Always go to an opposite-sex dog for your first introduction, right? That's common understanding. Sometimes it might not work in your best interest. For example, if you have a seriously fearful dog, like little fearful Abby, and let's say I didn't know it, but she was coming into heat and she was very sexually attractive to a male dog, and he went in and zoned on her and was right over the top of her really assertively. That might not be a very good experience for her, right? So it's not to say that a male is a bad idea, just don't get yourself locked in when you're doing play groups. I want you to think of individual dogs, kind of principles that you're working from, but you've got to see what's in front of you and make good judgment calls as you go. Don't get locked into stuff, okay? Also, same thing with a prey-like dog. You know, for some reason, if there's some sexual motivation between using the opposite sex dogs. Obviously, playful dogs, if you can see, they're good options to start any one of those problem dogs, right? Tolerant dogs, you know, the ones that are going to go in there and, hey, I don't really care, do your thing, man. I'm just over here doing my thing. They're pretty good to start with. But if I had an offensively aggressive dog, I wouldn't want to put a poor tolerant dog through that, right? And then a dominant dog is, this is a mistake on my part. Can I just say I'm sorry? Because a dominant dog should have everything. A truly good dominant dog should be good. I thought that I'd fix that too. If they're what I say that they are and they have good judgment calls on everything, which they do, then they're good to help fix any one of those problems. Ready? Tolerant dog passively avoids overt, playful, and or antagonistic gestures. They basically just tolerate other dogs, are really not much into playing. This is a good excuse for a piece of footage. That's it. Really doesn't pertain to tolerance. I think it pertains much more to obliviousness. But you got to put it somewhere, because it's, again, one of those captured moments, like there is a God. There's Rusty again. He just takes the toy right out from under him. He's like, whatever!